approval on these metals, who then check those matters in terms of the prices and the reasonability of the prices. There was also a question, I was just covering both sides, but there was a question also that, a specific question that was asked regarding the how much we've spent to date by Honorable Jacobs. We wanted to just say that the 33.5 that is mentioned is what we have gone to ad hoc committee with, because at that time, 2 weeks ago, on approvals, we were sitting at 33.5 million. Today, as at the time of the report, when we're sending to the committee, we're sitting at, no, not today, but early in the week, we're sitting at 44. Sorry, last week, Friday, we're sitting at 44 million, which shows that there's been progress since the ad hoc committee and this portfolio committee in terms of approvals. About 10 million more was added. And between Friday last week and today, there could have been some that would have been added. So which means that we're not going to have underspending on this 50 million. The 50 million is going to be finished. What we're going to have is a problem that some of the applicants that then that haven't been looked at out of the total number, then they would not be able to get assistance. Hence, the minister was talking about the budget of 50 million, and the minister also mentioned that she will submit it again to get more money. So we then see if we get, then we can process further these applications, but we're never going to sit with an underspending on a 50 million when the need for this is over 225 million. So that then specifically answers that question. The minister covered on the need for business support, definitely, not only post the floods, but post the COVID and post the looting. Those three events have further emphasized the need for business support. Hence, SIDA has been calling for the portfolio committee to know that our budget has been reducing, and this was raised by the portfolio committee, has been reducing over the years. Hence, we are calling for even a bigger budget so that we're able to see that can afford to have this budget reducing again, because the need for assisting SMMEs has even grown much beyond these three unforeseen events over the years. Chair. And then maybe touch base on the May. I think there is a mistake there on the informal. If the question was, can you get feedback on the May flood in July? And we are saying that we only opened for the formal businesses in May. We only opened for the informal. The formal business what we've been reporting on today, which opened in May and closed, which opened in April, and we're able to close in May. We did not. We opened on 25th of April and closed on 13th of May. We did not open the informal one at that point in time. We only opened the informal one on the 25th of July, and it's closing this week, that one. And we'll then start adjudication. And our commitment is that we need to make sure that the adjudication takes place as from next week, and we're able then to approve and disperse. And this is why we've been working with the municipalities. That process has been lengthy because we need to make sure that the municipalities check this, and also that there's no municipality that is not represented out of those that were infected or that were impacted by the floods. Hence, we involved all the stakeholders. Our LED offices at the municipalities are at the forefront of these informal traders, and we'll make sure then that all that were affected, as the municipality would have in the database, would then be assisted, which I then said we may have to look at, Chair, lower than the 10,000, so that we can accommodate almost all of those that will apply. And so we didn't open for informal traders in May, and we'll then give a report as we're closing on Friday in the next committee, in the next, not next week, but maybe the September committee, in terms of how far we've come on the informal traders and how much we've been able to spend. And by that time, on the formal one, we should have been able to at least issue and get the equipment being then delivered on the formal by the end of September, Chair. That is, those are the technical answers that I noted that the minister wanted me to just deal with, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you, CEO, for your responses. I note Honorable Dumisani's hand. Chair, I wanted just to check with you, do you want to take over, or should we do another round? I think most of the questions has been addressed. I see Honorable Dumisani left his hand, he declined his hand, so I think we have concluded. Oh, Chair, can you guide me? Do you want us to do another round, or can I give Honorable Dumisani? Honorable Dumisani, maybe you should come in.
Oh, well, once again, thank you very much, Chairperson, the Honorable Chairperson. Yeah, one last clarity seeking question, Chairperson. I've heard on the report, the presenter told us that some of the reason which made this department to decline or to disapprove some of the applications was the fact that some of those things were beyond the reach of this department. For example, he told us that things like buildings, they are not covered, or they can't help anyone with the problem of, they say maybe the building has fallen or something. Now, I want to check in with this department that if indeed this department says that it helps people and it got people in heart, what measures did they do with the insurance companies? Because we will all know that insurance also, they are the one also that gives people headache every day. Because when it's time to pay back the claim, they always come up with stories. But these were the natural disaster issue, which we all saw what the floods have done. What did this department do to do a consultation on behalf of the affected people or business people to talk to the insurance to speed up the payment, so that, or maybe to talk to that insurance to give those affected businesses maybe a temporary shelter on the meantime, so that while they are processing whatever that they are processing as insurance, then the business cannot be affected. That was one clarity. But also, Chairperson, I've seen that our Honorable Minister have decided to be a spokesperson of the President. Now, I will advise that in the next future or in the future sittings or so for this portfolio committee, she must not act as a spokesperson of the President. She must speak on behalf of the department, because she can't come here and tell us that no one knows what happened there, and then there are still thorough investigations and stuff. How do you investigate something that you caught something in the act? They caught the president with dollars. How do you investigate that? So please, Chairperson, advise the minister that next time when she comes here, she must stick solemnly on the issues of the department. She must not become a spokesperson of Cyril Ramaphosa. Please. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Dumisani. I've allowed you to make your inputs. I think what we'll do now, I don't know if there is any technical response. I don't want us to go back to the politicization. This is not the time and the space for these politics. We are dealing with issues relating to the flood victims and the small business support in Eastern Cape and Western, and I mean in KZN. So can I ask if there's any immediate or just responses to Honorable Dumisani's question from the technical level before we conclude matters today?
Thank you, Chair. Just on the first question that was asked by the Honorable Member in relation to what role we have played in terms of those that we have declined, others because they have insurances. Unfortunately, our mandate does not extend to going to insurances, but where small businesses are victimized, we are able to at least try to get to understand what is happening. All we are able to do is to say there are these small businesses that are affected as we work with the provincial and local sphere, which many of them in the affected areas had provided halls and other space to accommodate the small businesses or the people that were affected by the floods. And that's what we can account for. On the insurance side, unfortunately, we couldn't. I know, Chairperson, you cited that you don't want us to politic about this. Honorable Chair, I want to clarify and apologize to the honorable members if they believe that when I explain what they have said in this platform or explain the implications, that it means I'm appointing myself as a spokesperson. I responded here on the work that we are doing as the department, wherein the honorable members, in their own articulation, do not understand why the department does not have enough money to support small businesses. And they cite that we go to the president. And that's not nominating yourself to a spokesperson, Chairperson, but it's to explain what role we can play and the values that we must carry out, both as public representatives and as government, that we can't go out. And this, even if it was not President Ramaphosa or any other person, I will still come back and say, we can't go to individuals and borrow money or ask for money to save or do government work, because this is what has led to capture. And these are the things, Honorable Chair, that are very important, that as we represent the public, we ought to clarify and be exemplary ourselves, both in articulation and in expression. I understand politicking, which is why I had to say that let me separate the two and show the implications of that. Not that I would make a bad spokesperson, though. Thank you so much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Minister and honourable members. I think we've sufficiently exhausted the topic at hand. I want to ask the Secretary